All right, into our love segment. We are all about family, whether you're struggling with potty training a toddler, finding the right hobbies for your child, or dealing with daycare dilemmas. We have got you covered. Plus, we'll discuss the tough decisions around custody and how to manage your teen's screen time. And my first comment about that is good luck with that. I'm telling you, you're just going to teach them how to lie, cheat, and steal to get it. So, okay.
All right.
Yeah, let's just jump in.
My son is almost 4 and not potty trained. Now, to be clear, he does urinate, but the bowel movements is an issue.
So is he afraid of sitting on the toilet? This is the biggest. I know this is hard for people. For whatever reason, boys in particular think there's a potty monster. They're afraid of getting sucked in or falling in or whatever. And that actually can be a big barrier to boys being potty trained.
Whoa.
They're afraid of it. Mm-hmm. And because they're boys, you don't like to admit they're afraid of things, even at 4. And so they'd rather. So you ask them. Yeah. Yeah, one of my kids, I forget which one, so I don't even get to throw the one under the bus. One of them thought there was a toilet monster, would attack the toilet with the cleaner brush, and to be water everywhere. And he thought there was a monster in there because when a toilet flushes, it makes sounds, right? It makes all kinds of bad sounds. So, I get it. I don't remember which one it was, but one of them did. Yeah, attacking the toilet monster.
Well, I heard of. Well, there was one relative. A classmate said to them, "Oh, you're still a baby," and that was it. Done.
Yeah, let nature take its course. Just stick to whatever program you've been doing. Consistency is always key. But finding out if there's, fear of the toilet is actually a thing, which is why he can go pee, but he can't sit. Would be my initial reaction, having raised a boatload of boys. Doing a mess first thing. And he just doesn't want to admit that he's afraid of it.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, he may not even really realize it's fear, right? So you may have to kind of lead him to realizing that. All right.
Not every kid is into sports. What hobbies click for your child instead?
Well, my kids played video games. So, I mean, if you consider that a hobby.
It is a hobby.
Yeah. Well, some people don't consider it a hobby.
No, they're wrong.
We agree on that. But I'm just being nice to those people who
They're being narrow-minded. They don't deserve it.
Everybody deserves the empathy that we try to provide here. Hard. Some people think I'm the hard one. This is one of those things we talked about last week, is that you just provide them opportunities, expose them to different things. Community centers are good for that. If you've got one near you, because they're often subsidized, so they're relatively cheap. Model building, car build. Start with model cars.
Yeah.
Trains. Kids like trains, especially boys. They like trains, but girls like trains too. And anything they get their hands on.
Yes.
It is another thing. You can teach them useful skills. Sewing. It's a useful skill.
Cooking.
Yeah. I don't know about. I would be reluctant to try to have cooking as a hobby. Cooking as a life skill, I would be reluctant to try to introduce something as a hobby. but it's something I don't want you to teach. You should teach every child how to do basic cooking, and those who are interested, you do more.
Well, I turned baking bread into a little hobby, and I give it to friends.
Yes, but not sure I would introduce that as a child as a hobby. Now, baking bread is when you talk about specific cooking, that's a little different. Baking, making cakes or things like that. Yeah, but cooking in general.
Decorating, cake decorating can be a hobby.
Yeah. But here's also the thing. Also, don't exclude sports. Think about the non-popular sports. Archery, shot put, discus.
That'll get you a scholarship.
Well, just not even just scholarship. I mean, a lot of people, you're right, they don't want to go participate in those massive team sports. Okay, fine. But how about shot put? How about something that's by yourself or something that's, I'm just saying, because you don't want to play baseball or football or hockey or whatever the big main soccer or one of the big main sports, doesn't mean they can't get value out of an experience.
Yeah. Very
at least
true.
trying.
Very true.
At least trying.
Trying it. Try it for a day. Yeah.
Okay, you don't like to run, but there's more to track and field than running. You can do discus. You can do the javelin. You can do archery. There's other sports that are available.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be my other.
And is bowling a sport?
Sure.
There you go.
It's also a good hobby.
Yeah.
Golf. You don't have to be athletic to go bowling or golfing.
There you go.
And if someone's clumsy, having them train in something athletic is good for them.
It is.
You don't have to be great. You don't even have to be good. Just give them confidence in something. That's all I'm saying. All right.
Sucking on fingers. Self-soothing or a bad habit starting?
Both are possible. Sometimes, the answer to the question can be both.
Yeah.
It is self-soothing. They're soothing something. They're using their sucking on their fingers. It's most commonly the thumb, but it can be anything. It can get fixated on any finger as a soothing behavior. So the question becomes, what are they soothing themselves from?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they're just an anxious child, and they're always going to have, when they're older, they're going to be playing with fidget spinners. Who knows? But it's one of those things where I don't worry so much about that until they become older. I don't even worry about sucking on their thumbs until their baby teeth start falling out, because you can't really hurt anything.
Yeah.
And again, peer pressure stops those things generally better than parenting does. So I tend not to worry about those things as much as others do, but I might, if it's a chronic problem, I might be concerned about some type of, underlying anxiety issue or something that they're stressing over or uncomfortable with. Maybe they got a hernia, who knows, depending upon the age. And again, we don't know the age, right? Is it 6 months and they're sucking on their thumb? It's perfectly normal. If they're going to do it, it doesn't mean anything yet, right? Versus someone who's 2.5 and sucking their thumb. It's a little different.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Daughter getting bit at daycare, 2.5 years old.
Well,
so you got to bite her at daycare.
Well, let's just say this happened first. This happens at literally every daycare everywhere in any country, whatever, right? This is what happens when you gather a bunch of children together. one of them's gonna get angry one time, at least, and, follow instincts, right? That's just it's gonna happen. It's in a sense, it's part of what you signed up for when you signed up for daycare.
I'd like to know how it's being addressed.
Yeah, well, depending upon how large the daycare is, if you can address it all they want, it's going to happen again. If you've got 20 kids and they're off playing, even if they've got 5 aides there, right? Which would be a pretty good thing in the play area. You got 20 kids, you got 5 adults watching them. It's pretty good eyeballs on the group, right? Yeah. Even then, someone standing right behind the teacher, give a big chunk, right? It's just kids will run up and run away. These things happen. It's one of these things that it doesn't bother me as long as it's kind of a one-off thing for that particular child, right? Children will be children, quite literally. If there is a problem child and it's a recurring behavior, then I want it dealt with. I wouldn't concern all that much unless it's a really severe bite, I wouldn't worry all that much about a single event. No parent, generally speaking, no parent wants their children off running out biting other parents. The people are going to have a talk with the parent's going to have a chat with the child. And unless the child's a bad seed type thing, then it's not likely to happen again, or at least,
not for a while.
Yeah. So it's one of these things you generally don't have to do much. You could start the conversations that you as a child have a right to defend yourself, but do you really want to have that conversation at 2.5 for daycare? No, I wouldn't suggest that. You save that for school. Or if there's a bully, you do get to punch them to defend yourself. There's that discussion eventually gets to happen, right?
Well, yeah.
Yeah. But does it happen at 2.5 over a bite at a 2.5? I don't think so. Right.
Yeah.
Again, unless maybe it's the toddler bully of the child care center and they're not dealing with it. Then maybe you do, but no. Most of the time, you don't really have to do anything. The daycare center will have, if it's a half decent daycare center, they'll follow their procedures to avoid trying to get sued. And there's, they've got written detailed procedures to deal with this kind of thing because the lawyers have told them this is what you have to do when this kind of thing happens, and they most often follow them.
Yeah.
There's not a whole lot for you to do unless it's a severe thing. Then you go doctors, documentation. Call your lawyer, the whole, no one really wants that. So,
no.
Okay.
Daughter wants to live with dad. She's 12.
Okay.
Well, mother is concerned her navigating young adulthood without her mother's guidance.
What, dad can't provide the same type of guidance mother can?
Well, mom feels,
Of course she does. This is when having to be adults as parents who are divorced or living apart or, this is where being adult about this is very difficult. Now, why does she want to go live with her dad is my initial question. Maybe does she miss her dad? Dads and daughters have a history of having special bonds, right?
Yes.
And so is she just missing her dad, and so she wants to go live with him because she wants to spend more time with dad?
Yeah.
Or is dad the fun parent because dad's not the one who lives with me? So
dad, that too.
Yes, and because dad doesn't have to be he comes in every third weekend. We get to go off. We all have some fun for the weekend.
No, they have 50-50 shared custody.
Okay, so this is a real decision. This isn't a decision where mom's mean, dad only comes in on weekends and we get to go to Chuck E. Cheese and get to do all the fun stuff because of course you're going to if you only got your kid on the weekends, that's what you're going to do. And so you get this distorted view of what life with dad would be like. But if you're talking genuine 50-50 custody.
Yeah.
And then she's saying, hey, I'd like this. That's a real thing to consider. But at that point, she doesn't get that choice.
No.
At 14, maybe she does.
Okay. I think more 16. 15, 16.
Yeah. There's no set line, right?
Yeah.
But at 12, she doesn't get to make the choice. That's courts and things have already made these decisions for us. And at 12, the court might start to listen to her, but I think she'd still end up at 50-50, all things being equal.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're still going to edit. But the farther she gets into her teen years, the more say she gets to have.
Exactly.
So
this is a time for you to maybe prepare yourself for down the line that your daughter will move in with her father.
And can I give a difficult hint? Just suggestion. Resist the urge to try to compete for her affection. Resist the urge to be the fun parent, to be the what, to try to manipulate how you would otherwise treat her so she'll choose you instead. It's going to be...
That's going to be hard.
Yeah. And how do you know?
Yeah.
How do you know? Right? How do you really genuinely know if you're doing that or not? I don't know. I'm just saying resist the urge to do that. And you can understand why, right? Because your relationship is now based upon manipulation, not you doing what's best for the child. You don't want to go down that path. You still want to raise a child the way you would have raised a child, regardless of the choices she may or may not make in the future.
Sure.
You don't know what she's going to need. She doesn't know what she needs in 2 years. You've got to stay true to yourself. Doesn't mean you should never be, what is the word I'm looking for? So solid in your parenting theory that you're not afraid to evolve. But be careful about how you evolve in your parenting in the next couple of years, because you may evolve it in ways that you would otherwise not have. And she would, and in that sense, she won't get the guidance she needs from you. She'll get the guidance you think she wants, but she won't get the guidance she needs. And maybe a conversation with your ex-husband to ask him to consider, to be self-aware enough to consider, the same thing.
Yeah.
And it's a difficult concept to get across, right? It's not a simple conversation to have, because no one's doing anything on purpose. You're assuming the best intentions out of everybody, but human nature is human nature. Once you know something, you're going to react to it.
Yeah.
And once you know your daughter is considering wanting to live somewhere else, you're going to react to that.
Yes.
And so be careful of your reaction to that. That's all I'm saying.
Good advice.
Okay. What we got?
11-year-old left at home for 1 hour. Opened the door for the delivery person. The parents are aghast.
What, did they open the door?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what happens at 11. You shook your finger at them and told them, stop opening the door. Go on about your life. See, for us, this was just life, right? For people our age.
I know, our age.
Being home alone at 11, we were home for hours at 11 o'clock. At 11 o'clock, we were,
I don't know.
At 11 years old,
11 years old.
we could have been miles from home and no one had any idea where we were. What we were doing. We could have been stuck at home, locked at home, latchkey kid. No one cared. No one knew what we were doing. And so when I hear these kind of things, right, I have a vastly different reaction to people who are younger.
Uh-huh.
We have had a much more sheltered life. I mean, my answer is, so you shake your finger at them. You say, this is an example of why you don't open the door, because while I was a nice delivery man this time, it could have been a dangerous situation. And if someone knocks on the door, you just pretend no one's home, right? That's what you do.
Yeah.
If there's a TV on, you just don't touch anything. You don't go near the windows. You kind of just and let the person go away.
Yeah.
That's what you do. And you just reiterate that. This is a learning experience. This isn't a big deal for people our age. Nowadays, people are freaking out over all this thing. He was left home for an hour. Yeah. So I think we need to get back to the point where it's okay to leave an 11-year-old home for an hour and understand that on occasionally they're going to make a mistake. The vast majority of the times that mistake will turn out perfectly fine and becomes a learning experience for everybody involved. And here's the thing. You can't learn things until you've tried them and screwed them up. Children need to be allowed to make mistakes so they can learn. Is it dangerous? Yes, but not learning is more dangerous. So what are you going to do?
We learn.
You can't wrap them in bubble wrap. You've got to give them controlled opportunities to practice.
Yes.
And, don't overthink these kind of things is my second thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right.
Okay. Child not able to turn off electronics. Is this a kid being a kid? Okay, he's 15. Time to come to dinner. 5 more minutes. No, now. Turn it off.
This is it could be reading a book. It could be outside playing. Pick your generation. This argument it's a slightly different variation, right?
Mm-hmm.
Kid won't come outside. He's out playing baseball all the time. Won't come in for dinner. We watched that baseball documentary. There was literally, kid cries if I don't let him play baseball. I don't understand. It's the same argument. Just the details are slightly different, right? You swapped electronic device for a baseball bat and a glove, or a book, or whatever, playing out with his friends, whatever it happened to be. So this is a perfectly normal kid being a kid. The question is, how do you deal with it? And here's the thing. At 15, you have no choice but to kind of negotiate some type of agreement, because you're teaching him how to be an adult. And so you have to start kind of treating him like an adult. So you say, look, it's important for us to have dinner together. So we have dinner, whatever roughly the time of dinner is, right? You know this way in advance. So so you just kind of work out, okay, can I come 5 minutes late? Can I, turn off the game early, come down, give it to them, something on the back end, whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
It's time for a negotiation. At 15, you have to figure out how to negotiate your way. At 15, you can no longer actually tell the child, as much as I may like to, because I said so. You really can't. I mean, you can, but you're setting up rebellion, and you don't want that.
Yeah.
At this stage, you want to teach them how to navigate real life. So you tell them it's important for you for dinner. And here's the thing. You may also have to respect that your child doesn't get the same value out of sitting around for dinner as you do. Here's this is one of these things I don't. People say they want to get their kids around for dinner, get their teenagers to gather around the table to talk about their day, but their child never talks about their day. You get these short one-word answers because they don't want to do that. So you're not even getting the value that you claim you wanted to get out of the thing by forcing your child to come in and sit down and say nothing during dinner. So by having a little flexibility, giving a little flexibility and getting a little flexibility in return, you can actually create the conditions where you can actually get what you want, actually get the genuine interactions you want. Because when he comes to sit down at the table, he'll be willing to engage with you because you've respected him. He'll start showing up on time more often. You just will. Because that becomes a rewarding experience, becomes more rewarding than yelling with his friends on his video game.
Mm.
But you got to understand, yelling with his friends on video games is a rewarding experience. He's having fun. Of course, it's rewarding. So, don't make it a battle, because you're going to start a battle versus fun. You're going to lose every time. Even if he's there, he's not going to be there. So you still lost.
Yeah.
And now you've created this rebellion thing. So negotiate a little flexibility.
There you go.
Okay. All right. That's it for us on this segment. Oh, wait. Yeah. You can find us at latenightLove.us. You can send your letters to love@latenightLove.us. You can find us YouTube, Facebook, Rumble, probably other places, and your favorite podcast network. All right. It's good. Hey, it's been a long night, man.